We have been walking this journey in Sundarakanda, where we have been using Hanuman as an example to understand our life's obstacles solution. The different techniques he uses to solve problems that were literally unsurmountable. Some of them we are very familiar in our personal lives. Some of them we may not be. But pretty much all the problems Hanuman faces and solves are all having a human dimension when it comes to its application. So I may have encountered half a dozen of his problems similar to his types. The another person may have only 2. The third person may have 8 or 10. So it doesn't matter if we encountered everything or not, but nonetheless we all have encountered such problems. So it is fair to look at Hanuman's solutions with our life in the backdrop. We saw that one of the biggest problems most of us have is we do not have a solution when we are facing a huge problem, or we don't understand our own potential sometimes, and we understood the solution was to tap into other sources, be it somebody else believing in us, or be it us believing in a larger vision. Larger the vision, the greater the energy, greater the freedom. Or we look deeper within ourselves and look at our own antaratma for inspiration. We also saw another obstacle, that no one believes in us. No one around us has the courage to believe in us because we have such a horrible track record. So this also we can overcome by the same methods what we did for the first one, by looking at a mission and a vision and our duty and a sense of purpose and the people who are dependent and the projects that are dependent on our performance. We also saw how to weave through friendly distractions, but that is not the same way you look at tests and challenges, which you will have to dig deeper and use all your skills to overcome them. That was what happened when Hanuman met Surasa. And Hanuman also showed how to deal with a real opponent when Simhika challenged him. We also went last week into a series of dilemmas Hanuman faced, starting from trying to keep the focus to many other dilemmas, like how just while talking, Lankini changed the gear. So in life also we find many situations where things are very dynamic, and how to handle those dynamic situations we focus, like Hanuman. We also saw that how Hanuman in his premature celebration mistook Mandodari as Sita. This is exactly what happens when we have false hopes or false positives in our life. We continued the journey of studying Hanuman when he ran into deep depression, and how he encouraged himself to come out of that deep hole he had dug for himself. He also ran into a bigger problem. He started questioning if he was even qualified, because he started looking at all the women, and as a brahmachari he was not supposed to. So we saw all these dilemmas, and then we left Hanuman on the outskirts of Ashokavana. We let him climb a tree, and we were left him waiting for some auspicious break. So today we are continuing this journey of Hanuman's dilemmas, and I will post the link as well. If you could, Arvind, look at the practical lessons from Hanuman's dilemmas in Lanka part 2. If you could, yeah, man, you are ahead of me. Look at that. Thank you. So that is the foundation for our talk, just like talking points. So today when Hanuman is looking at a distance, he saw a lady who was very thin, wearing dirty clothes, and there was a continuous threat from Rakshasis. And now Hanuman is once bitten, twice shy. He is like, no, I can't make the same mistake twice. Is this Sita or is this Mandodari's mistake number 2? Because Ravana had so many women. He had kidnapped from so many people. He didn't bother. It is like the religion of peace. They don't bother if the lady is married or not. Their idea is whatever your left hand can grab and your right hand can possess, it's all yours. That's what their Dadiwala has said. And that is the tribal mindset they have when it comes to treating women. I can't, for the biggest effort in my head, even understand how women in their religion would even have enough heart and brain to even continue that religion. That's besides the point. But anyways, when Hanuman this time, he is thinking, Rama said, when we took that bundle of jewelry to Rama, Rama identified all the jewels. So Sita was wearing jewelry number 1, jewelry number 2, jewelry number 3. This lady seems to have those impressions of those jewelry. So in his mind he said, check. And then he saw that, okay, there is one more proof. Look, the pallu of her sari is torn. and he remembered that color, original color, because he was the one who caught it. So he remembered that original color and he applied this color to this ragged torn piece of sari she was wearing, and it matched, because with so much amount of dirt and soiling, it eventually is going to become this condition. So he got that also check. So that was also yellow color, and that was an auspicious yellow garment. So yellow is a very auspicious color, right, in Sanatana Dharma. So he had and he looked at Sita. He had, oh my God, whatever Samudrika Lakshana Rama had told, this lady has. Rama had given such a powerful word picture of Sita. Now whatever Rama had told is 100% match. Plus, this lady is pining Rama, Rama, Rama. Now he got confirmation. But even then, he can't jump to conclusions. See, he had come through so much trouble. Now he can't rush and make that, you have taken all the effort to hit a 99 against a very tough crowd. And then you don't want to show your bravado in trying to hit a 4 or a 6 and get out. Just get one single and then boost your confidence, get your 100 and focus on victory, not just your personal record that I hit 100, right? So Hanuman was of that mindset. So then Hanuman said, what is the lesson we are learning from this? We are learning that when we already are excited about our success, we should not take the focus and mind off of it, like premature celebration. You saw what happened with Pakistan, right? The minute India lost, they declared Islam won over Hinduism. Go figure that part. And then when they lost, they didn't say Islam bowed down to Christianity. They didn't say that. They are still in the underground. They will come next year, or maybe whenever they come out of the burrows, we can ask them that question. So this kind of mindset of celebrating prematurely and losing the focus is a big problem. We need to look at problem from multiple angles. How is Hanuman analyzing this situation here? Hey, this is the Samudrika Lakshana. This is the jewelry. This is the cloth. So he is trying to put all aspects. So in our life, if I want to look at a problem, if I am looking only at one particular angle, may not be enough. You may want to look at it from different aspects to understand the multifaceted problem, the multidimensional nature of that problem, and a knee-jerk reaction is not going to help there. So the most important thing is we have to analyze, make calm, measured steps towards our purpose. Then Hanuman comes to the next biggest problem, the biggest ever problem he had so far. What is that? The biggest ever problem is he saw that because this Ravana came and troubled her, and Sita didn't bother about it, and she got heartbroken. So she was totally frustrated why Rama would not come after 10 months. And she was sure that when Maricha went after Maricha, they must have been killed, because she is in a total darkness, and that is how she was thinking. So, when we are frustrated in life, it looks so dark. If it can happen to Sita, then imagine our plight. So, Sita, in total desperation, she wants to hang herself with her own long hair. She wants to commit suicide. So, I told you Hanuman was sitting in one Shimshupa tree, and Sita picks the same tree. Now imagine Hanuman must be literally having heart attack. If Hanuman is not having heart attack, we reading that way Valmiki is narrating, we all get heart attack. So now Hanuman thought like, okay, I got this signet ring, but if this lady is not giving me a toehold to talk to her, that's it, case closed. If she is going to commit suicide right in front of me and I can't save Sita, what is the point in me coming all the way, doing all the thing? Everything is over. So right in front of him, the entire mission was crumbling down. And that was too much. And he could not jump in front of her and say, hey Sita, this is Hanuman coming from Rama. That won't work, because she has seen so much amount of distrust with all the Rakshasas that she will think that this is another trick of Rakshasas. Now, even if she doesn't, but if she is scared and with their mistrust, if she screams, all the sleeping Rakshasas will wake up. And if they wake up, even if Hanuman is able to kill most of them, one or two may run away and they may inform. So the whole mission will get spoiled. So it is imperative to save Sita. But she seems to be determined in her depression, in her frustration, in her confusion to end her own life. And he had no way to stop it. Now, assuming that Hanuman thought, maybe I need to interject this case without showing myself. That's what he thought. How could he interact with her? In what language will he interact? If he started talking chaste Samskrita, she is going to wonder like, when did Vanara start speaking Samskrita? I already told Hanuman and all the other Vanaras were not mere Vanaras, they were humans in Vanara form. And of course, Hanuman comes in a different category. Hanuman is more than human, more than Superman. So he had that extra ability. So what happened? If she screams, the whole case is closed. Now if he talks, she is still not going to trust him and still do something to alert the Rakshasas, and the whole case is closed. Now, worse than that, he also heard Ravana speak to her. And Ravana told there is only 2 months' time. So he knew from first hand that Sita is totally up against the wall and he had to do something to rescue her. Now we also, maybe in another talk, we will see how Hanuman is number one in communication. The very first meeting Rama met Hanuman, for several slokas he is only talking about how beautiful Hanuman is talking to Lakshmana. So such is the greatness of Hanuman's communication skills. But if such a person himself is stumped, what can people like you and me do? Because communication is a very, very important skill. So what he did was, he said, he started singing the story of Ramayana in a low, sweet, melodious voice. And whenever you see, when anybody is depressed in life, if you tell them story of Rama, Krishna and things like that, their mind will get recharged no matter how much depression they have seen in their life. There is hope rekindling. There is hope that is reborn in the mind. So, it is important when we try to connect with people who are depressed, instead of talking only worldly things, hey, man, no problem, cool things will happen, you will come back. Try for a change, at least with our Indian peers. Try telling them sections where how Rama turned the tide, or Hanuman did something, or some part of Bhagavatam that would relate with them, and see the difference. You will be surprised that these are far more powerful mechanisms when dealing with people with depression than anything else. Now, Sita, we will pause here, but for Sita, the story was a bit confusing. She knew the starting point. Okay, there was a Raja called the Raja Dasharatha Asit. He had no children. Then they made one yajna. They got paisa. Then he distributed it to the 3 queens. And then there were 4 beautiful children born. Then all the story that happened, and then they came to the forest, and then they came to the forest, and finally what happened? Sita was lost. That's all she knew. But this Hanuman is continuing the story. He said, Rama and Lakshmana were searching, and after they were searching, they came and searched, they looked for Sugriva, and they came and found Sugriva, and they decided to help Sugriva, and suddenly Sugriva became the king after killing Vali. Now Sita is wondering, what is all this? Remember, this is all happening in Brahma Muhurta, almost like 4 o'clock in the morning. So Sita is wondering, am I hallucinating, or is this all real? I am hearing a monkey's voice, and what's happening? And we'll pause it there to analyze a little bit. Now, what we understood was, what did Hanuman do here? Hanuman threw away all his conventional wisdom and he said, I am going to think outside the box. Who cares about a box here? Because when it comes to life, when it comes to relationship, when it comes to personal interactions, there is an element of fragility. There are things that people are fragile, right? Especially when they are pushed to a corner, when they are depressed, or when they are down, or when they are helpless or hopeless, and that sort of situation, they are very fragile. So what happens at that time is, we need to empathize with them first, and only by having that empathy we can have a connection with them, and only when we connect with them we can make an impact. So it is important that we focus first on the connection part rather than trying to. So if there is a person, they just have very few day relationship, and the one person comes and says, hey, do this, and hey, do that. They don't have that pull. Whereas somebody who has been having some vested interest, and for many years or months they have been building some trust. They have been making deposits in each other's life. So what happens? They have the pull. So, since we may be landing in all odd situations, if we want to make the pull, we need to first have an understanding through empathy. And only from empathy we can go to the next step. So, first we need to understand before we start dishing out our solutions. Let's say somebody asks a question. Before they ask question, I say, I know the answer. I will start telling you the answer. What will happen? Or when the other person is telling their problems, my mind is already tuned out. And I say, I know what you are going to say. So when my mind is already tuned out and I am not empathizing with that person's situation, how can I give a positive message to that person? So first we need to, when communication, first thing is we need to take our ego and put it on the side. And then we need to make a connection. And then we can make an impact. So the bigger idea is, what Hanuman was having was all the time, hey, you know what, I need to finish this mission properly. Otherwise, so many people are dependent on this. That responsibility was keeping Hanuman from doing a rash step. Remember, Hanuman is a quick learner, unlike us. He makes corrections on the fly. We already discussed that last time. Now, Sita thought, early morning, if I am seeing a monkey in a dream, it is not auspicious. Early morning, if you are seeing a real monkey, then it is auspicious. But if you are seeing a dream monkey, it is not auspicious. So what do? Then she started thinking, may Rama be nice, may Lakshmana be nice, may my father Janaka be nice, may my mother-in-laws be nice. She started doing prayer for each one of them. Look at the heart of Sita. See, that is what every person, irrespective of nar or nari, whether it is a man or woman, doesn't matter. Look at the heart of Sita. That is our parampara. That is our civilization. That you are taking care of the other person, though you may be in deep problem. Who is in real problem here? Sita. But look at her heart. What is she doing? She is praying, oh, Rama should be fine, Lakshmana should be fine, because I saw a bad dream. And those are the subtle values we need to bring back in our life. Then we will have wonderful relationships. So the other thing what Hanuman did was, he started, through his sweet words, he started slowly making himself present. And he climbed down and he said, Sita, don't be afraid. I am Hanuman. And she thought this was Ravana. Because what Hanuman did was one small misstep. In his eagerness, he stepped one step closer to her, and Sita, in her fear, who was already wanting a confirmation, but now she is totally confirmed that this fellow is a Rakshasa. He is doing some trick. I told you, from Hanuman, what we can learn is he is so quick in looking and reacting and responding and changing the course. Immediately he understood that his behavior caused that reaction. So he takes one step back. Now she has problem in her head. She is thinking, my fears are on one side, but on another side there is this Vanara who is claiming to be Ramaduta. So she got confused. Am I going cuckoo? Or what should I do? So sometimes when we don't know anything, what do? We do nothing. So Sita was stunned and she was in silence. That silence was because of her confusion. So what happened was, Hanuman started to tell about Rama. He started to tell his connection to Rama, his Rama Sambandha. And he kept telling again and again that he was there only to rescue her from Ravana. So Sita was very smart also. She said like, okay, tell me again all the details what happened after I got captured. So Hanuman tells again. So she tallies whatever he told, is he lying or is he telling, and also now small pieces fall into the picture in her head. Hey, if they are walking for so many months and if they are finding someone and then they need to send a rescue mission, so all that weeks and months add up in her head. So it makes sense to her. This story seems to be plausible. And then she was also informed that Vali was taken out by Rama, and Sugriva is a good friend of Rama, and Sugriva has sent all the armies. So Hanuman is trying to empower her. What is the biggest fear? What is the biggest fear Sita has? It is not even that these Rakshasas are there or whatever. Her biggest fear is, has Rama abandoned me? So, and also Sita has so much regard for Jatayu and Jatayu's sacrifice. We will look at Jatayu's sacrifice another day in detail. But Jatayu, so he understood that. He understood that Sita's placing that value. So he highlighted the contribution of Sambadi, his brother, in this mission. So Sita was, so if somebody is so down, what do? You tell them things that comfort them. You don't go and tell them like, what a useless idiot you are, can't you think like this? Well, I used to be one of them. I didn't understand the context or what it is, because thinking with a Vulcan brain or like a logical head will not help to connect with the other person who is an emotional basket case. So this real beauty will come out only if you look at Sundarakanda, Valmiki Ramayana Sundarakanda. This Sita Rama Hanuman Samvada is really an Amrita. It's something which we need to understand. Now what happened? Hanuman, to seal his trust with her, he finally shows the Rama's signet ring. Now you can ask, why didn't he show it first? If he had shown it first, without describing Rama, without telling all the stories, what would have happened was, Sita would not know all the stories. What she would have thought was, this Vanara had killed Rama and took that signet ring and he is trying to trick me now. So when somebody is, there is a proper way to unravel a message. We will see the same thing when he goes back to Rama. The first word he sees is seen. Seen who? So he says, Kanden Sideye. That's what in the same words in Samskrita. That like, I have seen Sita. He didn't say Sita first, because Rama didn't have that much patience also. So that is the beauty of delivering the message, that he says he saw first Sita and then he tells the information. Okay, what can we learn from this and apply in our lives? Trust is the most important glue in any relationship, whether it is husband, wife, parents, children, or whether it is office manager or employee. Trust is the foundation on which all relationships are built. And if you want to build that trust, we need to be the one making that effort, not wait for the other person to do everything. Hanuman did not worry about what did Hanuman, he didn't say like, oh, you know what, my mission is in jeopardy. No. He said like, forget about the mission. We have got a new mission now. Finding Sita was the first mission, but now that he is parted, he can't go back. So what is the mission now? Mission is to make sure that Sita is getting the hope, that Sita is alive. Sita is able to hold that till the time Rama comes and rescues her. So a person has to understand what is the role and be dynamic in their response. It is very, very important that we keep that in the back of our head. A trust deficit is going to result in a definite catastrophe. And how do you earn the trust? In the West and in the New Ageism and all these books, what they write, what do they write most? They write something called as servant leadership, servitude. You serve the other person to earn the trust. So it is only in the times of these when we reveal our character to the other person and the other person sees it in action and they start believing in us. Then Hanuman said, no worries. What we are going to do, Sita, is we will go back right away with me, with nobody bothering you, we will just go back. So first Sita said, no, you are small Vanara. Remember, Hanuman had shrunk his size to see that nobody is seeing him. Then what happened? He took a huge form and he showed her, look, this is not a big deal. You can come with me. Then Sita said, you know what? I will fall off. Hanuman said, no, you are not telling the truth. Then she said, you know what? Others will hurt missiles and things like that. You will be busy fighting and or will you be busy saving me? Hanuman said, no problem. I'll be just gone in a minute. It's not even a big deal. And then Sita continues the line of conversation and says, no, I can't come with another person. If you really see how Sita was literally manhandled by Ravana, you won't even think this as a good excuse, because Sita could have burnt him. But Sita treated Ravana also as a stupid son, right? She is Lokamata, right? So same way, Sita Mata said, Hanuman said, you don't have to feel anything. I am your child. You are Jagannatha. What are you talking? Then after all these excuses, Hanuman understood. Okay. You want you to be rescued only by Rama so that his name will not get tainted. Look at Sita. What kind of value she has. She, just like Ravana took her secretly, she could have just taken and Ramayana would be so different. But she is focused on celebrating Rama's valor. So, that is an interesting thing that we get. And what Hanuman did was, look, I understood one thing. Between you, husband, wife, you guys are not easy to, you guys demand too many proofs. Rama also requires all sorts of proofs, right? So he told, look, just like you did all this testing to validate me that you have seen me, I want to give that hope to Rama also. Not that he won't believe me, but the thing is that he needs something to prove. Can you give me something? So she gives her Chudamani, which is a very wonderful jewel which she wore in her head. And this Chudamani was from Devaloka, right? And she also told the story of how Kakasura, when Rama and Sita were in the forest, right? Rama was with his head on the lap of Sita. At that time, this Kakasura, who was Indra's son, he comes and he takes a form of a a crow, and he comes and he tries to peck at her chest, and she was in deep pain and she couldn't do anything, and Rama got awakened, and he took a blade of grass and he made it into an astra. This fellow is flying to all lokas, but nowhere it is letting him. But only when Kakasura comes and falls at the feet of Rama's feet also, it is not letting him. Only when it takes surrender at the feet of Sita, it is okay. Rama says okay. So we see the same story in many places, similar kind of story. So what is the challenge here? What is the solution we are getting here? When there is a problem, go the extra mile trying to understand. Don't just look at okay, Sita was there, we will just console her and he came out. No, he offered solution. What solution did he offer? He said, hey, I will take you back. You are separated from Rama, that is your biggest problem. Right now we will solve it. Right now, this minute, come on. Whether that solution was accepted or not, you want to think bigger and better. So if you are trying to say that, hey, I gave my 100%, nothing happened. Don't be this 100% guy. Go the extra mile, do 110, do 120, 150%. Then what is asked out of you? Now, this may not be required, it may be a overkill in some things. Let's say that I come to your house and you say like, okay, Sachidananda ji, have 1 cup of tea. I say, okay. Now you told I will give you 110%. So I will pour 110% of the liquid on the cup capacity. What will happen? That is not what I am talking. So what we understand is, we want also sometimes to have like our steps retraceable. That's what Hanuman says, hey, you know what, give me some proof. When I go back to Rama, I need to give some solid proof. That sometimes you may have to do that. So it is imperative that we learn. What Hanuman did was, he wanted to cover all the bases. He put all the lessons he learnt into application. Now what happened? Sita says, look, there is only 2 months Ravana has given, but I can give only 1 month to Ram. Actually, she says there is only 2 months. Next time she comes, she cuts that also. So what happens? She says there is only 2 months. Why don't you stay with me for 1 day? It is so sweet, Hanuman. We already know Hanuman is a sweet communicator. He says, Hanuman, why don't you stay here 1 day? You will be giving me so much solace. Right? Remember the friendly distraction? This is the worst friendly distraction. Who is going to think about how to bring Rama and the entire army into here, do the battle and all those things? Sita is not bothered about all those. She says, child, stay with me. Make sense? So she says, you can just come here, and then she has doubt. who else apart from Vayu, Garuda and Hanuman can cross this ocean? How can you tell me about your Sugriva? Tell me about this army. I don't know if these people are gonna come or not, and she says well, how do we? She starts asking question about how do you bring all the troops this side. Now, Hanuman, first thing what he said was, sorry, I can't wait for you. Why? Because if I wait for you, that is that much time lost. Why? Because Sita is sitting on a time bomb. What is the one thing Sita doesn't have? Time. Why? Ravana, he himself heard that Ravana gave only 2 months. Right? So the thing is that sometimes you have to look at things from different vision. Sometimes you have to look at the forest. Sometimes you have to look at the tree bark. Sometimes you should have a macro picture. Sometimes you need to have a super micro picture. And you should be having the ability to jump one to the other seamlessly. That's what we learned from Hanuman. And then what happens? In our case, we get so confused with one vision or the other that we are not able to get the big picture. So to get the big picture, we have to always have this different kinds of vision. Hanuman is able to do that. And then when for Sita's questions, what is Sita's question? Hey, how can you come across all this ocean? Not everybody is going to come, right? So Hanuman said, see, for these kind of useless scouting missions, only the lowest level people are sent. So Sugriva said, this Hanuman fit for nothing fellow, you go and at least get this one job done, na? So that's why I came. But this Vanarasena is so powerful, you don't have any doubts on that, okay? This Vanarasena is, Hanuman is so humbling and he is also edifying the team. So you have to know, if Hanuman said, you know what, we already told that there are only 4 people capable of jumping this ocean. Sugriva, Nila, Hanuman and Angada. If Hanuman started telling military ideas to Sita, what will happen? She will say, okay, goodbye Hanuman, you go this side, I will go and hang this side. So when we are very, very careful with what we are telling, we have to be very careful with what we are telling, when we are telling, let's say for example, there is a big, some husband lost a job or something, and then the child comes and then says, I got Harvard school. This fellow doesn't even have a job, then how is he going to pay for child's Harvard? So first thing he will, if he is sensible, what he will say, hey, don't worry child, we will take care of it. I have already, if he says, he should not even say I lost the job, he should say I will figure out, if he is sensible. So sometimes we need to know whom to tell what and how much. It's very, very important. If Hanuman started talking about military strategies, things like that, that's not the place and time for Sita. She may be smart. In other places and times, she could be even a military counselor. But at this moment, she is not. She is a basket case. She needs help. She is kind of like in ICU. You need to rescue her. First you rescue her mentally and give her some hope and cheer, and then we can do everything else with her. So it is very important to know what we tell, whom to tell and how much to tell. So there is a, Hanuman is finished with all the tasks with Sita. Then he is saying like, you know what, I am not happy with this mission. We have done everything, but we need to do more. I told you already that Hanuman is not the guy who says do 100% means he is happy with 100%. He says do 200%. He says no, that is not enough. His mission was to detect if Sita was there. But what more he has done was he not only found, he spoke with her, got proof that she is Sita, and got the Chudamani and all the messages, and he is going. But he says like, nah, we need to do more. He says, we need to, what can I do with these Rakshasas? Sama, Dana, Beda, Danda. He thought, can we go with Samadhana with all these Rakshasas? Are they going to be accepting? They are not going to accept. Can I bribe them and bring them to my side? No, these guys are more wealthy than me. What will you bribe with them? Oh, like fruits? Then can we separate them? There is a saying in English, thick as thieves, right? So these guys are not going to be separated. So what is that I can do with these guys? Only Danda. He said, he decided that I am going to give some Danda for these guys. Now, Valmiki Ramayana says, there is a massive internal dialogue happening between Hanuman, within his head. Okay? He says, Karya karmani nirdishta yo bahuni api sadayet purva karya virodena saha karya kartum arhati. What it says is, hey, I have done one purpose, but that primary purpose alone is not the purpose. Along with the primary purpose, there are so many secondary purposes also. And a person is supposed to have finished the task only when he has finished all the small additional tasks. Not just the main task. You have to do so many additional tasks. And then he says, Nahi eka sadhako hetu swalpasya api iha karmanaha yohi artham bahuda veda saha samartho artha sadhane. He is saying, there is no one single way to do all these things. Even if the task is so small, there are many ways to, in English again, they do a lot of violence. If you see, killing one or two birds in one stone, and they also have skinning the cats many ways. They have too much violence. But unfortunately, you are talking in English, right, this lecture. So, that's what. You can do the same thing in multiple ways. On the same hand, you can also do multiple tasks. And when you know you can do multiple tasks when one task is just told. Take for example, if I am the road minister. Okay. Now, I am not commenting about India's road minister. I am just telling I am the road minister. I am not talking about Gadkari. And when I am planning my roads, if I plan for a green corridor and put trees apart from putting the road, that is doing an extra step. Then apart from doing that, I am also taking care of places where the animals should be crossing and that sort of thing. Make sense? So when I am planning for one major thing, hey, my road job is what? Put the road. But I don't stop there. Then I am doing many extra things. Hanuman is saying a person who is not doing these additional things is not even doing the primary thing. because they didn't get that vision, they didn't get that picture, right? So Hanuman said, when he came through the aerial route, he had already looked at the military battalions and things like that. He also went around, when he was spying around, he saw many military strengths of Ravana. So he wanted to give Rama a report of the strength of Ravana's army. Look how he expanded the mission from just finding Sita to talking to Sita, getting proof from Sita. Now he is saying, no, I am going to get a sample of Ravana's strength, because he is having multiple hats. What is Hanuman doing here? He is now wearing the cap of he is not the commander-in-chief, but he is also the commander of many battalions, right? We will see eventually in the Yuddha Kanda, that is what happens. He is leading the fight from different sides. So as a commander, as a warrior, he wants to know. First he came as a spy. Then he changed his mission to a person who is consoling and saving Sita. And then he got all the information. Now he is putting that commander hat and he is saying, let's test. So now the Rakshasas, he took a huge form. The Rakshasas got, they have been like wondering, hearing these whispers. They are like half asleep. Remember, for us, what time it will be, early morning we are supposed to get up. But for them, that time only they are ready to go to bed. So what happened? They were wondering, like, this monkey came and spoke with Sita. Something is happening between them. So they went and asked Sita, hey, who is that? What are you telling that monkey? And what is he, why is he taking big form? What is this? But while all this was happening, he started destroying all the Ashokavana. And all the destruction was all around Sita, but nothing happened to Sita. So the Rakshasas got confirmed. Something connection between these two. So they went and told the report, sent a report to Ravana. Now Ravana sent some 80,000 strong Kinkaras. Hanuman said, what? It's just like mosquitoes, he just watered them, that's it, gone, all gone. 80,000, these are like, each Kinkara is like very powerful. Then what happens? Next, there was one guy called Jambumali. He was the son of Prahasta. Now, Prahasta was the wingman for Ravana's expeditions, military expeditions. He was one of the wingmen. Maricha, Prahasta, Mahodara, all these useless cases, all bloated ego cases. Okay. So when Jambumali came, he sent him Yarkar-led delivery to Yamaloka. Then 7 of his brothers came. 7 of Prahasta's sons came. They said, like, we will take revenge. The same direction they went, faster than they came. Then Ravana said, no, this Vanara is really powerful. This what is happening? He sent, I will send top generals. So he called 5 topmost guys in his team. Virupaksha, Upaksha, Durdara, Pragarsa and Bhaskarana. Yeah, Hanuman said, like, what? These guys are all useless guys only coming. Okay, come on, 5 guys, come on. All 5 guys gone. Then Ravana's son Akshaya Kumara, he comes. Now he also goes the same direction. At that time, Indrajit gets furious. He tells his father, are you even seeing the big picture? We are not dealing with some monkey in a tree. This one is maybe some deva or something like that. If it is Indra, I know how to deal with him. I am more powerful than him. You are talking with some monkey as if it is some mosquito. No, 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 no. This guy is a very powerful guy. Let me go and deal with it. And when Indrajit came, there was a beautiful battle between Hanuman and Indrajit. And understand, Hanuman was not having all the weapons or anything like that, right? So he understood Indrajit is not a normal guy. He was really struck with wonder at the level of archery. And now Indrajit said, like, you know what, this Vanara is not going to go down without Brahmastra. So he brought Brahmastra. But Brahmaji had already given a word for Hanumanji. This will do nothing to you. All the Devas had already given the Vardhan that none of their weapons will have any influence on Hanumanji. So what happened? Hanuman thought, the only way to see how deep this rabbit hole goes. No, we are not talking about the red pill, purple pill in Matrix movie. We are saying like Hanuman wanted to know how deep this rabbit hole goes. I will follow this guy. So he voluntarily bound himself to Brahmastra. So then he meets Ravana. Now look at the role. Another role. Hanuman keeps adding more feathers to his cap. He's turned himself from a Ramaduta, he is the ambassador now. He is telling Ravana, look, Ravana, the Vali, which Vali? That Vali, you know what it means by that Vali? Because for that Vali only this Ravana got surrendered. Right? And he had a friendship pact with them. That Vali who defeated you was already killed by Rama in one small low level arrow. One arrow. And remember that Arjuna, what Arjuna? Kartavirya Arjuna, who also beat Ravana black and blue. That Arjuna was defeated by Parasurama, but that Parasurama was humbled by this Rama only. So Hanuman was putting all sorts of checkmates. Psychologically, he had one desire. Hanuman was consumed by one desire. Look at the glory of Lanka. Look at this beautiful city. Look at even Ravana. Look at the splendor. Is it even humanly possible for anyone to get so much splendor? Don't lose it to some stupid folly. Somebody else's wife. If you just let them go, no problem. You know, somebody told like Ravana's only mistake was he kidnapped only Sita. If he kidnapped Rama and Sita, no problem. Rama and Sita would be happy in that forest only. They will be just spending the whole avatar there only. They had no needs, no desire, nothing. So, he advised Ravana to the maximum, but understand Ravana is the predecessor of Duryodhana. No matter what you tell these kind of blockheads, nothing will go in their head. Now Ravana felt threatened, so he said, set a fire to Hanuman's tail. Because Hanuman was denied a chair, so Hanuman made a huge chair like a throne out of his tail only. So what happened? They took that tail and actually he wanted to kill him. But Vibhishana intervened repeatedly again and again on behalf of Hanuman and said, look, he is claiming to be a Duta. So the Maryada is Release him. Okay, if you want to, you can. What is the beauty of what is it like a Vanara? Its tail. So you burn the tail, you maim the tail, that's okay. You chop it off, whatever, that's fine. But don't kill him. So Ravana was in that day some half good mood. So he accepted whatever Sugriva said. So they set fire to Hanuman's tail. So the news immediately goes, the Rakshasis, they wanted to taunt and tell Sita, right? Hey, that monkey, how much damage it did. See what happened. They are setting fire to it. So Hanuman said, okay. He had one weird feeling. He's found that fire was not even doing any harm to him. There was no impact. He was finding it so cool. He was wondering, is it my father, Vayu Bhagavan, doing this? Or is it Rama's grace? Or is it Sita's grace? Or maybe that Mainaka, my new friend, his blessing? I don't know what's happening. And then he said, hey, you know what? Time to change the mission. Now another new mission he gave. These dushtas must be punished. So he started jumping from one building to another building to another building and set fire to entire Lanka. But nothing happened to his tail. So what is the lesson we can learn? Go the extra mile. Go beyond your call of duty or dharma. Now, when I say all this, don't always put it to your office environment. I am talking about our entire life as a context. So, don't take all this message, go the extra mile. If boss says do 4 hours overtime without pay, do 8 hours overtime without pay and destroy yourself. No, I am not talking about that. That is stupidity. I am talking about things which involve dharma, things which involve our duty, right? Also, what we can learn from Hanuman is how he keeps creating new opportunities. He created a new opportunity, he created a new mission to test Ravana's strength. He created a new opportunity to test in the depth. What is the depth of his army? By dragging all the way up to Indrajit, who was the best person on Ravana's team. Even better than even Ravana, because Ravana would have been killed by Indra. So Indrajit is the number one guy in terms of the warrior count goes. Then he also created a face-to-face with Ravana. Imagine, having gone all these efforts, he went face to face with Ravana. Not only that, he challenged him, he advised him, he did the whole 9 yards. What more can even Rama dream of? Even Rama cannot say like, hey, do 10 things, because he did 500 things. So when we look at Hanuman, we have to look at like how to be completely inspired in our actions by looking at it from multiple dimensions, by looking at from different perspectives. And that is exactly what happens when Hanuman, we just saw how Hanuman is talking to himself. For doing one small work, don't just be happy with that work. Look at all the secondary work. Look at all the secondary dharma. Let's say, for example, somebody is having a small child. Let's say you are all raising it nice. Just because your child is all getting first rank, don't be happy. Go the extra mile. Ask yourself, hey, am I future proofing this child? Am I giving the values like dharma? Am I giving them knowledge about all the different stories and things like that in Sanatana Dharma, the understanding, the deep knowledge and all those things? Okay, I am done that also. Then can I also teach the child about finance? Because we are living in a very dynamic world. Our parents never taught us about finance except that save, save, save or whatever. That's all the maximum they could tell, right? But that message is so outdated, it's not even useless now. Because it's useful, but the thing is that that's not the whole picture, right? So the important thing here is, can we go the extra mile? Can we do more than what is asked out of us? So Hanuman is setting us such a wonderful picture, way beyond what we can imagine or dream, that what we should be doing. And then the last challenge what Hanuman faced. Now Hanuman was quickly reflecting on what happened. I told you Hanuman's super strength was constant introspection, which was the only reason why he would be able to look at his own flaws and faults and correct them at the same speed at which he was doing, which is one of the most important lessons we have learned in this 3-week exercise. So Hanuman looked at it. Hey, you know what I did? These idiots set my tail on fire and I have reduced Lanka to ashes. I have reduced Lanka to ashes. When he thought like that, he suddenly remembered, oh dummy, you have burnt Sita also. Now he started worrying about Sita because he already had mapped entire Lanka. Because he went and searched everywhere, right? So he jumped from one place to the other place to the other place and set everything on fire. So what happened was, now he started wondering like, oh my God, I found Sita, now I have killed Sita. Again, Hanuman is saying that what do? You need to confirm, not conclude, jump to conclusions. So the minute his mind went into, hey, let me go and confirm what happened, is that fire happening in Ashokavana also, he started seeing lot of auspicious omens all around him. And then he realized this reasoning. Who made my tail to be cool? It was only Sita's grace. It is only because of her grace my tail is cool. If he had enough power to keep my tail cool from a distance, obviously that fire would have no impact on her. Like that, see, sometimes we do a lot of negative talk, right? But negative talk, if you want to replace with positive talk, it doesn't mean you start daydreaming and speak only, hey, I am fantasizing all great things will happen. No, not like that. See, there is a deep difference between speaking truth to oneself and there is a difference between giving false hope to oneself. Hanuman was only giving himself a truth-based evidence. So, if you and I are going to be focused only on speaking truth, even we will be able to administer such messages to our own mind. The same way Hanuman was able to even imagine the calamity, what would have happened if Sita had really burnt. He had to go back to Rama and said, hey, I only killed your wife. Right? So Hanuman wanted to, but Hanuman saw all these auspicious omens. What happened was he started hearing all the charanas and all the people who are saying like, look at this Hanuman's deed. Is there an equivalent to Hanuman's deed? So they should not be talking about Hanuman's deed if he had killed Sita, right? So having that hope in his heart, he went back to Ashokavana. And when he saw Ashokavana, what happened was, Sita said, no more 2 months. Things have gone out of hand. Only 1 month. Tell your boss Rama. Only 1 month. So Sita also understood there is heat in this game. And she upped the game. And that is the beauty. Just like you have cricket match and there is this rain. So suddenly when they do this Duckworth-Lewis, whatever, some useless method, then what they say is, hey, you know what, you got only 20 overs and you got to hit 3 times the runs or whatever, right? The run rate, whatever. So what happened was, Hanuman went and saw Sita, got the message. Now this time he said, okay, I will go straight to Rama only. And with that, we will send the triumphant Hanuman back to Bharata and conclude this series with the final messages, what we can learn. Hanuman's second mistake was over enthusiasm. In over enthusiasm of destroying Ravana, he did not even think where to set fire or not. Lucky for him, it was Sita's grace. But in your case and my case, this is called same side goal. We don't want same side goal in over enthusiasm. So the most important thing we need to understand is we cannot afford to do the mistakes of Hanuman, because Hanuman's case, he is dynamic in detecting and fixing. It is like I launch a rocket. Rocket is flying now. 20 Mach, 30 Mach, whatever that thing is. And then there is something broken in that rocket. Can you do repair while it is flying itself? Hanuman is capable of doing, not us. But we can learn the lesson not to make the mistake of over enthusiasm and same side goal. And also, you want to take stock of the situation and say like, hey, you know what? I want to confirm it. Even if the negative message is given, confirm it. Right? So the most important thing is we need to learn a lot of these lessons using Hanuman. So we just kick-started this series with the only purpose that Itihasa Puranas are not mere story, bedtime story, but there is a lot of depth and practical application in our daily lives. And that is what makes the difference between merely looking at it from a story point of view and merely looking at it from a application point of view. If you look at it only from a management perspective and not going into the depth of it, then you miss the bhava of bhakti, the bhava of knowledge and all the wisdom and things like that. But if you are looking only from bhakti perspective, you don't understand there is a practical element to it. And what happens if you don't have that practical element? The modern person of today, the current generation, without that practical application, they don't even develop that bhakti. So both are important. Okay. Let's sing the name of Hanuman. And Kichaji, if you want, you can join. And we will close this mini series thinking about Hanuman. Veeramaruti Gambiramaruti, Veeramaruti Gambiramaruti, Dhiramaruti ati dhiramaruti, dhiramaruti ati dhiramaruti, Gita Maruti Sangita Maruti, Gita Maruti Sangita Maruti, Duta Maruti Rama Duta Maruti, Duta Maruti Rama Duta Maruti, Bhakta Maruti Parama Bhakta Maruti, Bhakta Maruti Parama Bhakta Maruti, Veera Maruti Gambira Maruti, Veera Maruti Gambira Maruti. Jai Shri Ram. This Hanuman went in as Ramaduta, but this entire transformation happening during the mission made him a complete Ramadasa when he came back. So, that Karma Yoga does that magic of a total transformation, and that is the last message we want to remember for today, that Karma Yoga, like Hanuman, brings a total spiritual transformation. And let's not forget that most important message. And with that, let me end this mini series. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hanuman, Jai Bajrang Bali.